to VisionEdge Marketing's One Good Idea series, where Diana and I share a smart business tip in each episode based on our work and conversations with business leaders and marketing professionals. We always welcome a conversation with you, and it's our promise that you will always leave with at least one good idea.
Laura, growth seems to be a major mandate for companies right now. And I recall a PwC and KPMG CEO survey that revealed growth was the #1 top priority for CEOs right now.
Yes, I remember those. And there's also a recent Gartner study of CEOs and senior executives that pretty much revealed the same thing for the coming year. Growth comes from customers, not just keeping and growing the value of existing customers, but also from new customers, potentially in new segments. They are all essential to growth.
Agreed. That brings to mind a conversation with a client we had who wanted to identify some new segments outside of their existing markets that would propel growth. I recall they had attempted selecting segments in the past without much success.
I remember that same conversation. If I recall, they had a number of internal conversations, and different people wanted to pursue a variety of different segments, all for very different reasons, such as previous experience in the market, or the market that they thought was growing, or because the competition seemed to be less.
Right. Everyone was trying to decide what segments to pursue, and as a result, they were stuck.
Yes, exactly. And this is pretty common in many of the conversations we have with companies about segmentation. They don't have a defined process for evaluating segments, which would be very helpful.
That's right. I think that's one of the reasons why people like our data-informed approach to segmentation.
I think so too, because it's research-based and it uses a ranking, and weighting methodology to evaluate segments apples to apples. Of course, they don't have to use our specific approach. The point is, it's important to have a methodology based on creating some type of common schema that they consistently use to rate, rank, and weight segments every single time.
Let's share some of the suggestions that we made to decide how to proceed.
Okay, first, let's be sure we're clear about our approach so it'll make more sense, because it provides context for the idea. We encourage customers to evaluate segments using dimensions.
That's right.
For us, we have two: opportunity and accessibility. It's one thing to decide a segment is a good opportunity. It's another to be able to gain access to that segment.
That's a really good point. It seems to me that regardless of the approach or model a company uses, it's important to choose segments with both dimensions.
I agree. And that means they need to decide the criteria for each dimension.
Mm-hmm. For example, the number of companies and their size might be a criteria for opportunity, and expertise or experience could be a criterion for accessibility.
Exactly. We recommended the customer define the criteria and create the model. And after doing some internal thinking, they came back and asked us to help with the model development and research. Because we do this work all of the time, we were able to see some nuances in the data, things that might have been overlooked right off the bat, that allowed them to really hone in on some really good segments.
Mm-hmm. With this particular experience, one of the nuances we had to do was learning that some of their existing customers were actually already prospective segments.
Yes, and that presents insight into an excellent growth strategy.
Mm-hmm. Is that all it takes to pursue a new segment?
Not exactly. Once a company identifies the segment or segments they're going to pursue, they need to make sure their positioning, messaging, content, and everything else in the downstream matches up to the segment and the buying journey of the potential customers in the segment.
They need to have a story that is relevant and credible to new prospects. That's smart business.
Yes, and that's this episode's one good idea.
Please like the video and subscribe to our channel so you'll be notified of more smart business tips that we'll share in the future. You can find content on thinking outside of the box and using scenario analysis on the VisionEdge website.